You're listening to Biz-Souls, the business podcast with an edge, hosted by me, Rona Lewis, and Jeffrey Hansler. Tune in for perspectives and discoveries about the changing world of business. It's time to connect to the heart, soul, and humor of how business gets done. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Biz-Souls. I'm Rona Lewis.
I'm Jeffrey Hansler, and we get to the heart and soul of business and the people that make it happen. And we're still working together, even after that podcast episode or two ago, at least for the moment. Rona's still fuming.
And we're going to talk about manipulation.
Exactly.
Speaking of why I'm still here, we're talking about the ups, downs, and good, bad, and indifferent of manipulating people and the ways that they do it. And you have a story. We just watched a TED Talk, and he was busy taking notes. So go ahead.
God, and I didn't even catch his name. I was just interested in the subject. Toxoplasma gondii. It's a TED Talk. If you look that up, you'll find it. He did a great job in the presentation.
You probably butchered how you pronounced it, but it's fine. Yeah.
Well, they call it toxo for short. Anyway, so one of the examples is there's a parasite that gets into rats, and that's their normal host, except they can only reproduce in cats. And so what they do is they
not the rats, the actual parasite.
The parasite, right? Yeah. And what the
good explaining.
Thanks. And what the parasite does, gets into the rat's brain, and it makes it attracted to cat piss, so that
who wouldn't be?
It actually goes and seeks out. So a rat seeks out a cat, so
right.
that the cat will kill it and eat it, and then it can reproduce. And then it comes out.
It's a very clever little booger.
It is. And then there's one that gets into crickets and insects.
It's a worm. It's a worm. Yeah.
It's a worm, and it will eat. It'll live in the worm and grow in the worm, and then
no, I'm gonna.
Not the worm.
It's called a zombie cricket, and the cricket eats the larva. The larva then is born inside the cricket, uses it for nutrients, and it releases a toxin that goes into the cricket's brain, and it makes it attracted to water. So the cricket sees water in its zombie state, jumps in the water, and then drowns because the worm actually needs water
to get out of the cricket.
Exactly.
So, and then the question was at the end of it,
are we effective?
Are we affected? Because cats are mammals and we're mammals. And some scientists, there's discussion on this, believe that 1 in 3 people have the toxo parasite in them.
I vote you.
And those people score differently on personality tests.
Definitely,
as well as doing
Jeffrey.
Other things. Exactly.
So it's overall, it's about manipulation and how easily we are as a species, as mammals, how easily we are manipulated through all different ways.
Right, and this has been going on since the beginning of time. There's been manipulation, and they have different things. Like if you ever read The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli, he talks about some things that are counterintuitive. For example, a family. The leaders were kicked out of this territory it's not a territory, province in Italy, and this one family worked to get him back in. Well, when the old leaders came back in, when the ones that had taken over were kicked out, the family went up to the. It's a long story. Rona's laughing at me.
He's not teaching storytelling this year.
No, because we're on anyway. So the family that had helped get them back in went up to the leaders and said, "Hey, you owe us now." And so what did the leaders do? They killed the family. And they thought, well, hey, we did a favor for you. You owe us in the favor. And the family was like, we don't like owing anybody anything. So they killed the family off. And that was a little counterintuitive. I'm sure they wouldn't
have. Of course, it's Machiavellian. Why would you want to follow that anyway?
Well, and
because your brain works differently, Jeffrey.
Well, and that's the thing about manipulation. We're not aware of it. Things are counterintuitive oftentimes. Mm-hmm. And somebody can tell the truth and nobody will believe them, and somebody else tells a lie,
Right.
and everybody believes them.
Well, it's like circus. P.T. Barnum said there's a sucker born every minute.
Correct.
If you say something with enough conviction, that's what makes a good salesperson. You teach sales. If you say something with enough conviction, people will believe you because people buy you.
And that is one of the tactics, conviction, which is why if you repeat a lie to yourself enough times, it becomes truth and you can pass a lie detector test.
You mean like being the smartest person in the room?
Exactly. At least you can beat the lie detector test.
That's right. That's
you may
right.
not live long. You may not live long. You can beat the lie detector
Right.
test. And the other is how you phrase things.
Absolutely.
So if you make statements to somebody and tell them whose idea is it, it's your idea you're trying to push on them. Whereas if you ask questions and lead them down a path of questions, they begin to think it's their idea.
In other words, it's you don't realize where you're going until it's like, wait a minute, I wanted to get out of this 6 months ago. How the hell am I still in this? And you realize it's because, or guilt. I think guilt, having a Jewish mother, I'm really good at hearing stuff like, no, it's fine. You said you would do this, where it's getting better all the time, but no, go ahead. Stop if you want to. It's okay. I'll sit in the dark. That's the old Jewish joke. How many Jewish mothers does it take to screw in a light bulb? No, it's okay. No, none. I'll sit in the dark. And that's how it's done. That guilt. You said you would, and that's okay. I'll be, and it's victimhood.
It is. And the thing is our mind, a lot of people think your brain is your friend. It's not.
No.
Your brain is not your friend always. Your brain lies to you under condition. It doesn't want to change. Even if the change is good for you, it doesn't want to change. So, oh no, this is how we get back. There's a thing called a blurt that if you were trying to lose weight on your own, not using meds, if you're trying to lose weight on your own, you'll be going along and then all of a sudden your brain will go, hey, we've been good. We should eat. And then you sit down and have a feast and you lose everything you gained or exercising or whatever you did. And that's called a blurt. And your brain, it's their last ditch effort to get you to go back to the old habit. There's a thing called theory of the mind. Mm-hmm. And it's the ability to see another point of view. And that's really, really important. And can you get somebody to see, how do you get somebody to see another point of view? How do you open their mind up? And one of the ways is build friendship, build rapport. And if they like you, they'll have a tendency to trust you. And if they trust you, they'll have a tendency to maybe follow your direction.
Well, and that goes back to the manipulation of phrasing like they do, the body language, all those type of things, finding commonalities. That's manipulation.
Correct.
Or sales, whichever way you want to put it.
Well, and Dr. Robert Cialdini, University of Arizona, talked about 6 things that are hardwired in our brain. One of them is authority.
Okay.
And so if you see somebody with robes on or you see a police officer's uniform.
I wear a robe every morning. That doesn't help me.
Well, a robe as in a judge. Also, if somebody has a big office or somebody's in a suit,
right.
They have more credibility, and you have a tendency to believe them because of it. So this is how con artists get in.
That's why I wear high heels.
Things. Sure. And there are people.
I'm also only 5'4", so that's another reason, but that's beside the point.
And in an emergency, we have a tendency to look for people that have knowledge. For example, if somebody falls down, they have a heart attack, they start breathing. And people panic. And so somebody yells, I'm a doctor. I can come in here and help them. That person may not. They may not know.
They could be a dermatologist for all you know.
Or not even a doctor.
Like a PhD?
No, nothing.
Oh.
Isn't that what,
right.
Catch Me If You Can?
That's right.
Went in to be a doctor. And as long as you know the language, you dress the part and you act it, I concur.
Right. Right. Language is everything. That is very funny.
So,
yeah.
So there was a thing in Japan. It was at the where was it? Was it?
I can't read your handwriting.
I can't read my own handwriting. It was in Kyoto.
Kyoto.
In Kyoto, In one of the elementary schools,
Yeah.
they started having kids spend 3 minutes with a light behind them, and all they did was they tried to mirror and follow their shadow.
Right.
And they were aware of that, and they did it for 3 minutes. And what they found after doing that every day for a couple of weeks is the people that had been, kind of rammy and disruptive to the classroom, they quieted down. And the kids that had been quiet and didn't speak up started to speak up. Well, one reporter heard this, and they said, "Oh, this is psychological suggestiveness." And they implied it was very negative, and so they stopped it. Well, that practice of mirroring your shadow came from the samurai. And it's how they settled themselves and how they added control and they grounded themselves. And that practice is something that I think we should bring back into schools.
Well, it's very meditative. It brings you back into the present moment. I talk a lot in my programs about stress, and stress happens with replays and imaginings. We live in the past, we make mountains out of molehills, or we futurize and catastrophize. And I'm just sure, I just know. Do we? The only thing we have is the present. And when you are looking at something and focusing on it, that's bringing you back to the present moment.
Absolutely. People get uncomfortable when I talk about this. Everything we do is a manipulation. If you go out and shake somebody's hand, that's actually a manipulation. It came from the idea that if I'm right-handed and I'm shaking your hand, I can't be pulling my sword
weapon,
and cutting off
right.
your head. And so when you smile at somebody, it is everything we do has a reaction, and we're signaling.
I'm not smiling.
Exactly.
Well, and that's why we, to that point, we hate it, especially people like me who are high eyes on the disc profile, and I wear the world. I can't play poker. I have a terrible poker face, and when I'm faced with someone who does not have a lot of expression on their face, I don't know what to do because I don't know what to do to manipulate them.
Well,
because they don't give me cues.
Right, and manipulation has such a bad context.
No, it's not. It's not at all. It's getting buy-in.
Well, buy-in is you're trying to get them engaged so they can change. I mean, that's what we do, and that's what play is about. Play is about getting somebody to a happy space, and when somebody feels happy, they're more confident, they feel safer, and then they're much more open to change. So I love, what we should start saying to ourselves as a moniker is, I love being manipulated. For my
Beat
own
me,
good.
whip me, call me Helen. Yeah.
Well, it's great. And I love, a good salesperson. I absolutely love a good salesperson. What I hate is the people that, or dislike, hate's a strong word, is the people that are manipulating for their benefit. And so I think what we want to do is really focus. If you're manipulating somebody for their benefit, not yours, you're trying to help them. You're trying to help them.
Whether they want it or not.
Well, just think of a child, right? There's a lot of childhood suicide, teenage suicide now. And if you can manipulate them to see the bright side and all the opportunity ahead of them and how this too shall pass, then you're doing a good thing. If you're manipulating them to make them feel worse about themselves, which is
like online bullying, yes.
Which is bullying. Bullying is a form of manipulation.
It is.
So the idea is we just need to understand that we are an interactive species and that people are manipulating with everything to do with it.
And, look at the internet. They say at least 65% of what's on there is false. And I don't care if you're talking about personal things or AI is everywhere, no matter what side both sides of the aisle are putting out things that, if they have a grain of truth, it's surprising. They're just, they just change the narrative to fix it for their side, and then you get the unconscious, not the unconscious bias, the confirmation bias. And I had a friend put something on that was, on the and she was so sure. Look what's happening now, and everybody is like, blank. No, that's not even close. It's AI, and she doesn't have enough critical thinking skills to realize that just because it's on the internet doesn't necessarily mean it's true.
Yeah. And, advertising and products and companies have been
Absolutely.
manipulating people forever and not always for our own good.
Right.
And, it's funny, I still don't, and I'm going to end on this one from my standpoint.
Okay.
With companies, they, if you talk about, you care about the customer and you're going to deliver a good product to the customer, like for example, I won't mention the company name, that I got a bed from them, one of the foam beds. Yeah. And the sheets arrived, and the sheets, I wash all this stuff when I get it, and the sheets there was a tear in it. And I called them up, and they said, oh, we don't replace those. We do everything. We care about the customer. We do everything. And they send the sheets out, and they wouldn't do anything about it. Last time I'll buy a bed from them.
Yeah.
They could turn purple for all I care. Anyway.
But I'm bummed.
Okay. All yours, Rona.
So, manipulation, like you said, is not necessarily a bad word. It's a great way to get buy-in on a positive note. And, we talk about how changing corporate culture is really manipulating how people see the culture overall, how people see each other and can help each other and work with each other. And it doesn't necessarily just come from leadership. Like the bugs, it can come from the center and work its way out. It can spread from, a middle manager, a couple of employees who have learned something, and then all of a sudden that spreads, and poof, the bad shell comes off, and then you get a worm that swims away in the water for the nicest possible reasons. Anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it, and hopefully it's yours, because I'm ending the show. All right, so that is it for us. I'm Rona Lewis.
I'm Jeffrey Hansler.
And this has been Biz-Souls. Before you go, don't forget to hit the like button. Please subscribe, hit the bell, and, comment at least 7 words, I think, the algorithm now. Just say something about Jeffrey's hair. He's really, he's really sensitive about it. Jeffrey, your hair looks great. Jeffrey, your hair looks great.
Not enough.
Thanks for talking too much. Okay, that's 10 words. Anyway, all right, that's it for us. This has been Biz-Souls. Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Biz-Souls podcast with your hosts, Rona Lewis and Jeffrey Hansler. Did you have fun? Subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It's very much appreciated. Talk to you next week.